So welcome to Cuisine. This is an amazing stop as well. And this is Casey. Casey is a multiple business owner. So, but today we're here talking about the fabulous antique and vintage in her shop, but she's going to tell you about it all.
Welcome,
Amazing.
ladies.
Thank you so much for having us.
Pleasure.
Kara, don't run away yet. How do you two work together? How has all of this friendship and collaboration?
So we're very similar. Now, I'm less of a businesswoman than Casey.
I don't agree with that.
But we think very similarly about women in business and collaboration and the importance of working together as small businesses to make it better for everybody.
Bigger impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I created the Antique Vintage Trail, but Casey said to me one day, we should have a website. Yeah, we should. And so that was Casey. So you see how we're complementing one another. So
And we share customers too. We
Yes.
send people back and forth. If
Absolutely.
we have research questions, we go back and forth. So I'm very much about women in business. I've been in business here in Thornbury for 15 years. I started the Cheese Gallery in June 2010. I've sat on the BIA, Economic Development, Chamber, all of those things, and I love to create events. So years ago, we created an event called Glamapalooza that many of your listeners or viewers may have gone to. Recently, the Cheese Gallery created the Big Cheese, which is now 25 locations this year. And Kara and I are working on the Antique Trail, and we have some ideas to do some events and growth around that. But Cuisine was really born out of the Cheese Gallery, people often asking for different things that we had. We did some vintage and pressed glass there with Sean George, and I have always loved this. My grandmother sat a formal table every Sunday night. We sat at the table. I, to this day, use my grandmother's china. I have sterling silver. I was given a piece of sterling at every birthday and Christmas. Wasn't very excited when you were 8 getting a knife, but now I love it. And when we left the table, my grandmother had a very formal saying that you had to say, which was, my sufficiency is suffoncified. I have had a superfluence of abundance. Should I have any more, I should have a pliticule. May I please be excused? And so she was, that is the plaque on my wall. My grandmother was about etiquette and about manners and about beautiful things. And so Cuisine is a bit of an ode to her. It is, it speaks to our past memories, our childhood histories, our being at Auntie's farmhouse or Gigi's cottage, and you find pieces, and that's what this is all about. It's also about sustainability. I mean, Pyrex was made in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and it's still great. I had a lady come in and say, I bought a dish at a big box store. It lasted me 3 months. What have you got? I said, let's go to Corningware. It'll last you 50 years.
Yes.
So we are about that too. And our clientele really love the weave of vintage and modern together. So you can come in and get a brand new Emile Henri, or you can buy a 50-year-old Pyrex. You can get a brand new Staub cast iron, or you can buy a cast iron pot or pan that was done in the 1920s. So we are really a mixture of all of that. So that's Cuisine.
I know I have pots, like the colorful color, and you know, I use them once a year type of thing, but they make amazing shelf displays too.
Exactly.
Hence why it looks so nice in here.
Yeah. I'm always like, yeah, I have pots.
And I would tell you, use them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my flatware is silver plate. I have china that I use for I actually use Wedgwood dishes every day. They go in the dishwasher. There are everyday china.
Absolutely.
Then I have the more formal stuff for when we're doing Easter dinner and things like that. But I always say to people, use it. Don't put it away and have it look pretty. Like pull it down and use it and love it. And maybe don't always put it in the dishwasher, but
Maybe not.
You hear that advice? Use your dishes, much like your clothing, wear them.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Pull them out and enjoy them because they give you joy. When you set a beautiful Easter table, having just done, I did 3 different tables because we had 3 different dinners.
Of course.
I love setting it. And my 88-year-old father-in-law came in and said, every time I come here, the table's different.
Yeah.
So, he notices that little stuff, but it brings me joy. So I think the things that you have in your home, the things that you wear on your body, the hobbies that you spend time in, things that bring you joy. You love it, you bring it joy, you use it. And that's very much what I am about vintage and antique.
Mhm.
Tell us about your clients, so your customers that come here, the type of people that they are, what do they look for? Is it because, walking around and seeing a mix of a lot of very vintage looking pieces that are simply looks like out of the 40s or the 50s.
That cool
Like
stove.
this
That cool
stove
stove.
right there. I gather you're not selling that.
No, that actually came out of the Beaver Valley, out of a home that the family has been here since the 1800s. Old farmhouse. And my husband took 6 guys to move that. Yeah, it's very, very, very heavy. So anything you see that looks vintage here is vintage. We don't have any reproductions. So if it's new, it's new. If it's vintage, it's vintage. Our clientele is 75% women. We go from young women in their, early 20s to we just had 3 European women in. So excited to find a vintage stainless thermos that, they were looking for something like that. So we have everybody is looking. And, people say, I've got all this stuff and my kids don't want it. And I always say to them, they don't want your stuff, but they want other stuff. And it has to have a certain look and it has to be functional. And, their whole vibe thing is a big deal these days. Even vintage linens. People love vintage linens. These are hard to find now. So yeah, the clientele is a little bit of everybody. Men come in with a list. We had a man come in last week and he had a panic attack because we had this beautiful, massive wooden bowl and it had been in the window and he came in. Where's the bowl? We're like, what bowl? The big wooden bowl with the thing. And we had just moved it, but his wife had seen it and he was in here to get that for her because it was one of a kind. And there's a lot of that.
And this goes back to something that a lot of people have touched on. It's like, if you see something that you love, you need to act on it because somebody will come in tomorrow and scoop it out from under you because there aren't 10 of them waiting in the
Exactly.
storage room.
And they bring back our memories of the core of who we are and our history and our experiences, our family, our traditions. That's what vintage really speaks to. And antique, yeah.
Do you have any advice for, entrepreneurs and or, specifically women that are looking to start a business and maybe are a little bit scared to take that jump?
There's a saying that I used when opening both my businesses, because I opened both of them in rough financial times, is take the leap and know the net will appear. And sometimes you just have to bet on yourself. When I opened the cheese gallery, people thought I was crazy. But my husband and my sister and a few very good friends, one who's here today, said, no, this could work. And so you really have to have a lot of courage and you have to have a lot of belief in yourself that you will do whatever it takes to make it successful. And then you reach out to partners and people that are doing, don't be afraid to talk to people who are doing similar things because competition is a good thing. And actually competition leads to cooperation and cooperation leads to draws to people to come to the area. And so that's very much what this trail is about is, we all are doing the similar things in a different way. But at the end of the day, by cooperating, we've created something that people can actually come and do the trail and visit the area. And there's some expansions that can happen with that trail. So my advice would be do your financial plan, trust your gut, believe in yourself, and take a chance.
Take a chance.
Take a chance. Because you know what? The answer is always no if you don't take a chance.